I had the opportunity to chair the energy subcommittee of the transition team. At the last meeting, it came to light that the debt had ballooned to 2.5 billion as of 30th September 2024. Yesterday, we had a final meeting, and the reconciled figures, as I had it, was $3 billion. And so, as we speak today, the official figure I got from the Ministry of Energy, the Energy Commission, and ECG indicates that the debt has ballooned to 3 billion. But let me quickly add that the Energy Sector Levies Act raked in about 45 billion cedis. And so that paid part of the interest on the principal of 9.4 billion. But then,
Mr. Chairman, sometimes he uses dollars and cedis. Can you be very consistent so that when it's in line, you know that $90 million or cedis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like I said, when we're leaving office, as of 31st August 2017, the debt in dollars was 2.1 billion. As at yesterday, the outstanding debt is a little over $3 billion. Thank you.
These agreements which were signed under his regime is the reason why the debt for the energy sector has ballooned to this level.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is true that some PPAs were signed during our time. It has some take-or-pay clauses. Even under the MPP, they've signed about 6 PPAs, all of them with take-or-pay clauses. AXA 370, AXA 370, AXA 900, Senate 110, Tema LNG, which is the most expensive LNG, all of them under the MPP regime, just like the NDC regime has take-or-pay. And take-or-pay in the energy language is what we call capital recovery. The developer would have borrowed money to set up the plant. And so every financial institution would require some element of guarantee. And so that is a fact, it's not an opinion. 2, as to whether these take-or-pays contributed to these debts, I've done a careful analysis of the debt. If you take the gas debt, for instance, our contractual volume with ENI is 270 MMscf. For 4 years now, they've been supplying 340 MMscf. So we are consuming way and above our contractual volumes. So take-or-pay couldn't have been an issue. If you take most of the debt, a chunk of them are power delivered, sold, but revenues not collected. When we're leaving office, what you call the ATC&C, that's the Aggregate Technical Collection and Commercial Loss, was 22%. At the Transition Committee, it came to light that it's ballooned to 40%. And so out of every 100 CD you sell, 40 CD is unaccounted for. And that is largely due, or that's what largely accounts for this huge debt. In fact, I'm leaving Accra today as part of the technical team to meet Letasco. Letasco supplied heavy fuel oil between 2017 to 2021. All that money has not been paid. And so there's a debt of 270 million on account of some of these fuels and guarantees. If you consume fuel, it means that it's not take-or-pay. It means the plant is running. So yes, some element of capacity charge will contribute to your debt, but the chunk and the bulk of the debt is on account of power produced and consumed, but not paid for. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, you spoke about ENI. Would you say that the negotiated price at the time of negotiation...
Is that your last question?
Last but one.
No, you are entitled to only 3 questions. You've asked 2 so far, so that is the last question. Please.
But you allow me to bring some small one after this one.
You are entitled to 3 questions. Please go ahead and ask your last question.
Okay. So my question was whether you believe that the negotiated price at the time was good for the country. And before you answer that, I would also want you to have a look at your CV. On your CV, you say that you were the general manager of a company. Well, it's all over the place. I mean, it's not numbered. What I have is not numbered, but it's on his professional resume, non-political experience. The general manager of Sophie Fisheries Limited. And I don't know whether it's a mistake, because you say that you were from 2005 to 2000. And so if you can have a look at that and see if you intended to actually tell us that was a typo. And then the same on the CV, when you look at the leadership position held, the membership of professional bodies, you say you were chairman, nuclear energy program, implementing organizations at the Ministry of Energy until 2017. So I want to know whether you want to confirm to the committee that at 2017, when Anado was the president, you were the chairman of this committee. So those are the
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I left office on the 6th of January 2017. So 2017, I would have been in office, except that I left on the 6th of January 2017. The other one is 2008. So I guess when they were typing the 8, they made that 0. So thank you very much for that observation. I'm grateful. I guess your question is on whether the ENI price is not too expensive.
Yes, in your view.
Okay, I have in my hand what you call the weighted average cost of gas, which we in the industry call WACOG. And I have the latest of them. If you take the price, which is the cost, so you have what you call the commodity cost, the transportation, and everything, which then becomes commingled gas and is piped. But then you can get the individual prices. So if you take ENI, which is Sankofa, you have the cost to be 6, 10 to be 5, and gas is 7.2. And gas is 7.2. Tema LNG, which was signed by the MPP, is 8.3. So I am of the view Ghana Gas is 0 because Jubilee was 0 rated for a period of time. So I am of the view that the Sankofa price of 6 is not the most expensive. That is one. 2 is that you just don't look at the price of a field. Is it associated gas? Is it mainly crude oil production or mainly gas? If it's mainly gas, then the gas has to compensate for the cost of the development. And if you read the 2022-2023 reports by the upstream players, they confirm that in 2022 alone, we consumed 107 BCF of gas from our fields. If you did not consume that gas, you'd have consumed 20 million barrels of light crude oil. If you do what you call import substitution or parity, this country saved $1.2 billion from consuming that gas. So I hold the view that you might have an opinion that the gas is expensive, another one might have an opinion that it's not expensive. But if you are saving 1.2 billion from import substitution from light crude when using gas, I hold the view that that gas is competitive. It came before this House. This House debated it and approved it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I would also want to seek the guidance of the chair as to whether will be allowed a follow-up question. Thank you very much. Honorable Jinapor, you on the 18th of September 2024 alluded to the fact that when the matter of ECG was up for discussion, you stated that the decision to have a private sector participation wasn't what was good for ECG. However, you were of the candid and considered opinion that the interference by politicians and the fact that we need to weed off political interference was the way to go. Fast forward on the 17th, on or around the 17th of the 7th of January, you were heard again on radio stating that you think that the only way forward was to have private sector participation, especially in the metering and collection sector of Ghana Electricity Company. Now, my question to you is, and you back this particular position with the fact that ATC and C, which you just alluded for, and for the benefit of Hansard, we are talking of aggregate, technical, commercial, and collection losses, was 40%. Could you please give this committee the breakdown of these 40% losses in terms of A, T, C, and C in the various sectors of that particular aggregate figure?
I'll do that, Mr. Chairman.
I would also want to seek the guidance of the chair as to whether will be allowed a follow-up question. Thank you very much. Honorable Jinapor, you on the 18th of September 2024 alluded to the fact that when the matter of ECG was up for discussion, you stated that the decision to have a private sector participation wasn't what was good for ECG. However, you were of the candid and considered opinion that the interference by politicians and the fact that we need to weed off political interference was the way to go. Fast forward on the 17th, on or around the 17th of the 7th of January, you were heard again on radio stating that you think that the only way forward was to have private sector participation, especially in the metering and collection sector of Ghana Electricity Company. Now, my question to you is, and you back this particular position with the fact that ATC and C, which you just alluded for, and for the benefit of Hansard, we are talking of aggregate, technical, commercial, and collection losses, was 40%. Could you please give this committee the breakdown of these 40% losses in terms of A, T, C, and C in the various sectors of that particular aggregate figure?
I'll do that, Mr. Chairman. There should be a private sector participant in the distribution, especially, like you said, billing and collection. When I was Deputy Minister, I led the process. When Honorable Setekwe became my supervising minister, he made me lead the process of privatization. I led the team to India, I led the team to Uganda, I led the team to Kenya to learn from best practices. And so I'm surprised. And let me put on record that I've been very consistent that we need private sector participation at the distribution level, except that I disagreed with the format of the PDS, and I maintain that we can do it better. The ATC and C, I think it's about 23% for the technical, and the remaining is the commercial, which sums it up to the 40%. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes,
Mr.
you said
Speaker.
you have a follow-up?
Yes, a follow-up.
Okay, go ahead.
During transition, you were handed over with a KPMG report of the audit of the operations of ECG. And that report puts the figure at 37.7%. And if the committee will be guided, it is the product of the billing efficiency and the collection efficiency. Can you confirm that to the committee?
I was not handed over a KPMG report, but 37 and 40, the difference is not that much. But I wasn't handed over a KPMG report. I asked a direct question as co-chair to ECG, and they told me that the losses was around 40%. But if you have a KPMG report, I would like to read it to enrich my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minority Leader has a follow-up question on that.
You are not against the privatization of ECG. From what you said, you are against the PDS in terms of the approach. So can you tell us then whether your government is for the privatization, I mean the full privatization of ECG?
Chaired by technical experts, legal experts, financial experts, and some industry players, and even somebody from the consumer side. What we want them to do is to get us a framework, looking at best practices. Would the concession approach work, or a full privatization work? We will stay off as politicians, let them get a framework in a more transparent, open, frank manner. Then when we get a buy-in of Ghanaians, then we can set the standards using an RFQ, an RFP, and then a competitive tender process. Let me make this clear. We are not going to do sole sourcing when it comes to the ECG private sector participation. Competitive tender process with some element of private sector participation using local content, and then we set the KPIs so we make progress. And so we are clear in our minds what we intend to do. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
The time frame for this engagement, because Ghanaians will be anxious to know. What's the time frame you are looking at?
My target is to push for 6 months, but I do not want to stampede the committee if I'm fortunate to get your approval. But give and take within this year, we should be able to do that, because there are lessons that we've learned from the previous concession. And so that will be the building block. But like I said, we want to do that in a very transparent, open manner, and get the best for this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now take a question from Honorable Asika Dongo.
But you said today is about 3 billion. Can you situate that in our reporting currency? What does that mean? $3 billion means what in cedis?
Mr. Chairman, when you use an exchange rate of, say, 15, that's 45 billion. So in Ghana cedi, we've moved from about 9 billion to 45 billion. It should have been worse. What is even kept it at the 45 billion is that another 45 billion has been collected on account of the Energy Sector Levies Act. So, but for the 45 billion that has accrued to the President Akufo-Addo government, the debt would have compounded, and that would have been much, much higher. But despite that, the debt today is about 45 billion Ghana cedi.
So in addition to the 45 billion cedis,
you are entitled to a question. I'm sorry. May I give the floor to Roxanne Nelson Dapamopom?
Chairman, thank you very much. Let me use the opportunity to congratulate my brother. We entered Parliament together. We worked together. And we constituted the famous 7. And I know that he will deliver. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
And congratulations. I come from a rural area. Till date, there are communities that do not have meters. And therefore, I want to find out from you, what will you do to improve ECG revenue collection? And will you support a proposal to phase out all postpaid meters to prepaid ones?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the ideal way, like you said, is to get prepayment meters, especially smart meters that can mimic all the requirements that you need. My meeting with ECG indicates that they have about 5.2 million meters. 4.8 are active. About 3 million of them are not working properly. So of the 4.8, 3 million meters are not working properly. So they will need to change a minimum of 2.9 million meters in order to satisfy the market. 2, like you said, people want meters. They are unable to get the meters. Technology is advancing. So we are exploring the possibility of selling the meters. Let people buy the meters. But through smart technology, we will license some people to install the meters. But you will need to send a code. Once you send a code in with mobile money, it's activated. And automatically, you are registered onto the system. Because sometimes it costs people more than 4 or 5 times to spend money to get a meter. So if we make it readily available and use economies of scale, I'm sure the price will come down. So it's something we are working on, and that we intend to roll that out as soon as we get your note. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Honorable Agnes Namumulate.
Opportunity to also congratulate the Honorable Member on his nomination. There's something that is on the hearts and minds of most Ghanaians. And if we all have a way, we'll contribute to ensuring that it doesn't become a headache again. The issue of the inconsistency in the power supply. Given the nod, what are you going to do? I have seen you do take some pragmatic steps to aid the president. In the long term.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Nominee, what will you do to ensure our power stays on?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have a current installed capacity of about 5,260 megawatts, a dependable capacity of about 4,800 megawatts. We've just hit a new peak demand of 4,100 megawatts. Our grid system is very, very resilient. We've upgraded a lot of our lines from 161 to 330 and 331 kVA lines. So they are quite robust with a lot of injection of primary substations. The first problem we need to address is the issue of fuel. Fuel supply is a major, major problem confronting the sector. Currently, we have a deficit of about 40 to 60 mm of gas. If you take the gas from ENI, gas from Jubilee 10, and then gas from N-gas, and you put all together, you still have a deficit. And so you've had to be depending on some level of light crude oil, some level of heavy fuel oil, and some level of distillate fuel oil. Our immediate objective will be to bridge that gap. We've met Jubilee partners, we've spoken to the partners and the operators, Talo, we've also spoken to Ghana Gas. We are currently doing 100 mm. We are confident that if they do some reconditioning, they can increase it to about 35 more, and that will give us a lot of buffer. So once we solve the fuel situation, and we have some liquid fuel reserves as a backup, we should be okay. The next one will be to deal with the financial challenges. I've gotten a letter from Car Power. We owe them $377 million. They are threatening to shut down. Talo over 100 million. They are threatening to cut back. ENI is threatening. So we need to deal with the financial challenge. So these two, if we can get them right, we should be home and dry. Last year alone, Ministry of Finance spent about 28 billion on energy sector related payments. That's more than your capital expenditure, including even your goods and services. So we have to look at how to drill down and bring about efficiency and be able to pay for what we consume. Thank you.
Though on the letter was Minister of Energy, but if you look at the executive instrument, it's adding something to your portfolio. You are aware of that?
Leader, with the greatest respect, I've seen it, but I'm only a nominee.
No, I'm saying whether you are aware.
I'm aware.
We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it later. Let me go ahead with my follow-up question. So, on the 7th of January, 2025, I am reliably informed that on the said date, the light crude oil Ascent Power was for a period of 23 days. Do you agree to that?
Yes, Leader.
Very well. If it was for 23 days as you agree, then are you equally aware that GMPC, which has a contract with Stratcon for the supply of 12 million liters of HFO, is still supplying this to AXA? You are aware?
I've checked on that, and GMPC has indicated that they don't have a contract with Stratcon to supply those liters. Thank you.
But are they do they take such supplies if they don't have such contract? Is there an arrangement where these supplies are delivered to them?
I've done my checks, and I can tell you that based on my check, there's no such arrangement.
Okay. Now, would you be surprised to hear that on the 6th of January, on the 6th of January, they supplied 19,561 tons?
I will not be surprised, and that's one of the issues I intend to investigate when you approve me.
Okay.
It's a subject matter for investigation.
All right.
Thank you.
So have you become aware?
Leader, you know the rules. A follow-up question must not exceed a certain limit.
Yeah,
so I think if you wouldn't mind, I can give you the floor now to ask your questions.
Chairman, you see, the nominee, in response to Honorable Momo Latte's question, had made certain pronouncements. I only was breaking it down because I didn't want to put all together. I know I have to act within the rules. So please indulge me, most respectfully, sir. Indulge me. I only wanted to break it down, else I could have put all together as a composite question. I didn't want to do that because there are specific deliveries on certain dates. So please, bear with me. Since you are aware that on the 6th of January, 19,561 tons worth of HFO was supplied. But your issue is that there was no contract, so it will be investigated. But that was supplied.
No, I didn't say that, Mr. Chairman. I didn't say that.
Okay, no problem. Now, on the 8th, would you be surprised to hear that on the 8th January, to 44,124 was also supplied?
Mr. Chairman, with the greatest of respect, I need your guidance. Leader, I respect you. The leader is asking me whether I will be surprised to hear that fuel has been delivered. I thought he would have asked me.
Okay, no problem. Let me put it let me put it differently. Have you become aware that on the 8th of January, 44,124 tons were supplied?
Mr. Chairman, to answer this, on the 8th of January, this is official record, and I would respectfully make a copy available to the committee. And so the HFO issue you're talking of, on the 8th of January, Sen Power, light crude oil, 260,000, enough to cater for 23 days. Senon Asogli, DFO, which is distillate fuel oil, 0. KTPP, distillate fuel oil, enough to cater for 1.5 days. Now the HFO. On the 8th of January, AXA, 440 meter cube, enough to cover for only 6 hours. So officially, I wasn't aware that some so-called 40,000 has been deposited. But let me be quick to say that the next day, I got to know that...
I don't want to take back. Please, can you avoid the use of the word so-called? I mean, just not to...
I'm sorry,
cause
Leader,
controversy.
I'm sorry. Thank you for the guidance.
You know, you've done well so far.
Leader, thank you. Thank you. So on the 9th of January, I got information that some people were discharging some heavy fuel oil into the tanks at AXA. And already the Chief of Staff had tasked me to lead a technical team to avoid this looming challenge in respect of these shortages of fuel. And like I told you, on the 8th of January, we had only 6 hours. In fact, they said that taking even the minimum requirement, it could last for only 5 hours. When I heard of it, I inquired. And then the AXA MD told me that some people had come to deliver HFO. I asked him on whose authority. Leader, with the greatest of respect, I do not want to mention people's name here, and you know why. I made it clear to them that those people were no longer in office. and they had no mandate on the 9th of January to issue orders to him to receive those fuels. I called ECG, ECG was not aware. I called VRA, they were not aware. I called the ministry, Solomon is here, they are not aware. I called GMPC, they are not aware. So I advised the chief director to ask for a cessation of the delivery. And we report to chief of staff. It's a matter of further investigation. On an assumption of office, with your kind leave, we shall investigate that matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So they delivered it or they couldn't deliver at all? Are we in receipt of that at the time you became aware?
As far as I'm concerned, officially, government is not in receipt of any such delivery. They were in the process of delivery, but without any authorization to deliver, we thought that they should hold on and let's do what is right and proper. Thank you.
So the 5 hours that you put out, as compared to the 23 days that you initially...
Okay. Leader, take the floor, take the floor.
So the 5 days that was originally out, you know, when the inauguration took place at the Independence Square, the media reported that you had alleged or you had said that we had only some 5 days of fuel. 5 hours, yes, 5 hours. Considering the fact that in your answer to me, you had indicated that Sem Power had fuel that could last us for 23 days. Would you want to reconcile the 5 hours and the 23 days, or would you want to shed some more light on it for clarity's sake?
There's nothing to reconcile. I was specific. I said we have 5 hours of HFO, and it's true. We had 5 hours of HFO. I said we had 0 hours of DFO for Sudan and Sogli, and it's true. I gave a breakdown, but I don't develop the headlines. I don't write the stories. The recording is there, and the truth is that we have 5 hours of HFO. And if there's any problem with gas supplies, we are going to lose as much as 370 megawatts in 5 hours' time, which will lead to load shedding. And so as far as I'm concerned, that is the fact. Thank you.
Great feat, a position well deserved. Mr. Chairman, listening to the honorable nominee, the biggest challenge is coming to face. Of course, let me put on record that the ministry you left 8 years ago, you will not meet the same thing when you get there tomorrow. You have said it. The energy sector debts alone is so enormous. Now, we've zeroed down to various. Now, in the value chain, you have a very critical player there, which is ECG, which unfortunately is the weakest link. And that's the reason why we have these challenges. To quote your own words, the power is produced and delivered. It is sold, but the revenue is not collected as efficiently as we can. Clearly, it boils down to accountability and efficiency. Now, you have also zeroed down to the fact that you are not averse to privatization. Indeed, His Excellency, when he met the World Bank a week ago, representatives, he made it clear that privatization was the way to go. Would you consider, taking into account, we have been preaching about local content, would you consider looking at institutional investors like SNET, like NAT, and the rest? Would you consider them when you want to do the privatization?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Taking up shares and getting a technical, competent company, even from outside, it means that there will be a lot of value retention. The main problem with ECG is not just the collection, but even how they spend or administer what they collect. They collect on average about 1.3 billion cedis every month. Only 850 million or 900 million goes into the cash waterfall mechanism. So what it means is that almost 400 million does not find its way into the cash waterfall mechanism because they've signed all kinds of contracts. Yesterday at the meeting, it came to light that they have 2,500 containers sitting at the ports. Contracts worth 9 billion has been signed. And because the containers are sitting at the ports, demurrage alone is 1.2 billion. So beyond the collection, we also have to drill down on efficiency and ensure that they stick to the cash waterfall mechanism. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I give the floor to Honorable Omar?
My name is Edu. Thank you very much.
What's the spelling of Edu?
A-I-D-O-O.
What's the spelling of Edu?
A-D-U. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead with your question.
Thank you. Honorable nominee, congratulations. Looking at your CV with your experience and vast background in the energy sector, I believe you'll be conversant with the questions I'm going to ask. One of the major challenges...
Are you saying questions?
Yes.
Please, we are entitled to a question.
Okay. One of the major challenges in the downstream petroleum sector is the issue of forex. And on the 11th of January 2023, you published a post on Facebook, which you said that the G4O, that's the good for oil policy, was opaque, clandestine, and a charade. And then you also said that it's going to promote smuggling of gold across Ghana's borders. And then in the same post, you said from our analysis, it is obvious this policy is not well thought through. Now, Mr. Nominee, I believe after your nomination, you've had cause to meet the management from Boston and MP and other stakeholders in the industry. Upon hindsight, you still hold the same opinion. And then if you are given the nod to lead the ministry, what will be your position on the good for oil? Taking into consideration that most of the importers who are bringing fuel to Ghana, one of the issues they look at is the issue
Honorable member,
ask one question.
His position on gold for oil.
I'm not done, question. I'm not done, Chairman. I'm not done. Chairman, I'm rounding up. Chairman, respectfully, I'm rounding up.
Is that the question I'm asking?
No, I'm not
the
done.
question?
The question is coming.
So, what do you mean by what is your position on gold for oil?
It's the same question. So let me round up. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, I will forgive you because you are a first timer.
So, considering that most of the importers consider the issue of forex as an issue when dealing with bust, and the gold for oil came to mitigate that issue, and there is scarcity of forex. And in a month, we need about 400 million USD to import petroleum products. So what would be your position on the gold for oil policy, and how are you going to fix the issue of forex for importers? And
Honorable nominee,
thank you very much.
Honorable nominee, I believe the question is, what is your position on gold for oil? You can ignore the commentaries and proceed to answer the question.
Mr. Chairman, I refer to 28th November 2023 publication. Bank of Ghana to phase out gold for oil policy. Bank of Ghana governor announces. And so I think that they are rather vindicating my position that it was not well thought out. If it was that good and it was solving the problem, you don't phase out a policy that is delivering results. What we would do, we would review it, we would analyze it, and ensure that we come out with a model that is fit for purpose, that ensures that we account for the good. Honorable Atufos has already indicated that we want to form a gold board, which will aggregate all the gold. We have an escrow account where the forex or the hard currency would move into, so that we'll use that to support fuel imports, but also support the payment of IPPs and the payment of gas. So we are looking at a holistic, well-encompassing approach rather than a narrow approach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Honorable Ayariga.
Congratulations. Dr. John Jinapor. Not many people know you are a doctor. You have a PhD now. Congratulations. So, some people envy your CV. Some people envy your CV, but it's a very rich CV. I had the opportunity to work with you during the transition exercise. You actually, on my behalf, led the Energy and Natural Resources subcommittee. And during that process, I became totally convinced and satisfied that you are not just a walking encyclopedia on all information relating to the energy sector, but that your capacity to think on your feet and devise solutions to the numerous challenges confronting our energy sector is unsurpassed by anyone.
Chairman, with respect, I have observed that there are some people who are sitting behind the nominee. It happened when we were taking Honorable Atufosin, and it's happening again. Please, Chair, let them know that they are not here to be clapping. If they are full soldiers who are here as cheerleaders, no, if I didn't say NDC full soldiers. No, it's not. They are full soldiers. I see full soldiers behind, not the chiefs. I'm not referring to the chiefs. I'm referring to some full soldiers behind. I've seen them. So please, let them not do that.
Honorable Leader,
Chairman, I'll rest my case.
They are not here as foot soldiers, but they are here to support and give moral support.
Then they shouldn't be clapping.
So
Chairman, they shouldn't be doing that.
So all you need to do is to inform them that here we don't clap, but
okay, here we don't clap. Yeah. No, they can't even say here because they are not part. They are not part of us. They are not. They cannot even say here.
Honorable members, the word foot soldier should be expunged from the records. Can we make progress, honorable members? It's expunged from the record with the apology from the chair. Thank you very much. Can we have some order? Order. Let's have order. It's now the turn of Honorable Charles Forson. Charles Forson, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, people of Tama Central and the management and staff of TOR, a direct question. What is there for TOR? And also, we do extract crude, but yet we have refining corporations here, and they are begging for certain parcels to be given to them, whilst they go out to struggle for $1. What is the way forward? Thank you.
Well, honorable member, is your question saying what is there for TOR or what he intends to do for TOR?
The plan. He understands it.
Honorable nominee, you may answer the question the way you understand it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable members, you may be aware, there's a Petroleum Revenue Management Act. And when you take crude within a stipulated period of time, you have to pay the money into the Petroleum Holding Fund. So for a refinery to take that refinery must satisfy that condition. TOR is a hydra-headed problem. It's a 45,000 barrel capacity refinery. The norm is that these days people are moving to huge refineries. If you take Amnaja, it's I think 1.2 million. Dangote 650,000, and it's even number 7. So 45 is quite small, but our objective is to seek a strategic partner, ring-fence the liabilities, and then use the assets as our capital injection and look for a strategic partner who is prepared to also inject some money. Normally, you need a staff of about 250 for such a refinery. Currently, the staff are over 700. So these are issues that we'll have to sit and see how we can deal with them so that we'll bring the refinery back. Because since 2021, 4 years now, the refinery has not been working. And something must be done about it. Thank you.
I know you've been briefed by the ministry and officials from GMPC about the program around Nkommo Wo Ho area. What do you know of the Voltairean Basin program, and how do you intend to add value to what your predecessors did, and how you intend to ensure that it comes on full stream to add to the revenue base of the country in the energy sector? Thank you.
From a peak of 71 million barrels in 2019, 2023, we did only 48 million. So there's a sharp decline of 32%. And if nothing is done, the upstream sector will collapse. In the Voltairean Basin, I'm told they've shot or shoot some 2D seismic data. I'm also told that they've done some parcels of allocation, which ought to come to Parliament. I intend that we'll review that immediately, within days or weeks. If I get your nod, then I'm sworn in. If we review them and we find those agreements satisfactory, we'll immediately come to Parliament. But I hold the view that we should relook at 919. All our neighbors, their current and participating interest is 10%. And as we move through the energy transition, you must quickly tap your stranded assets. So we would do a stakeholder engagement and get a buy-in of Ghanaians and incentivize the upstream players to invest, because it's very expensive. And that is something that we intend to pursue aggressively, even as we go through the energy transition. Thank you.
Very much. Any further question?
Yes, Minister, this is also on the upstream sector, which has seen some little or no investment in the sector. And I want you to tell Ghanaians some of the strategies you want to put in place to attract some of the big players in the upstream sector, like ExxonMobil. They came in and left to Guyana. We all know the issues around it. So what are some of the steps that your good self will be putting in place? You just mentioned that you are going to Dubai to meet with Letasco. And we want to find out what strategies you are going to put in place to attract some of the big players, since investment in that sector has gone down a bit. Thank you.
Thank you. So first is the incentives. We have a standard incentives for all the fields. That cannot work, because you have deep water, you have ultra deep, and you have shallow water. It's more expensive and technologically demanding to do deep water. So the incentives for deep water should be different from that for shallow water. Then the acreage, the size. Our information is that it's too small, so we need to increase it. And some other incentives, but more importantly, is the posturing of government. These legal cases that we are losing in court, it hurts us a lot. The first option should be to negotiate. ENI went to court, we lost. Talo went to court, we lost. GPGC went to court, we lost. Sahara went to court, we lost. It's just one too many. So we intend to sit around the table and dialogue. The trip we're going, we're meeting Look Oil to work on the Peckham field with AFC and the others. So the first option is to try and sit around the table, find out the real problems, and try to resolve them. I'm sure some of these basic interventions, if we can put them right, we can turn the clock around and attract the oil majors. Thank you.
I wish you the very best, my good friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Your answer to the convoluted question.
Mr. Chairman, I must admit that it's a very difficult job. And as I get a briefing every day, I'm reminded that I'm stepping into a very difficult job. I want to be remembered as a young minister who insists on discipline. And I tell you, I will insist on discipline. I know we'll step on some toes, but we'll step on those toes gently. More importantly, honesty. And then I want to approach this work with integrity, hard work, but with humility. I'll do my best. I know it's difficult, but I'm confident. Like given the array of people around, including those of you on this table, I'll consult all of you and do what is right and proper. But let me make it clear that will ensure that there's discipline in that sector. Thank you very much.
Energy-related matters. I must say the caucus is proud of you. You have been an excellent choice for our caucus on energy, and I have no doubt the president got that right by nominating you. I don't have a question for you. All I have to say is that those of us who dwell in the villages, in the past 4 years particularly, many of us anticipated extension of electricity to cover many of our villages to take advantage of the new ICT revolution in the world. We never got it because we don't have power. So if you were to give us laptops, those laptops in many of our communities are not used in the schools because we can't charge them. And so I also noticed that a colleague has already raised it. Many communities we all share have problems where a whole half of the town uses 1 meter, and they don't benefit from the thresholds you build to support vulnerable people because their consumptions have gone beyond what was anticipated, not because they are individually consuming more than they are consuming, but because they are clustering around 1 meter. I just want to remind you of this and say that the rural people have trust that you can make an intervention that brings electricity to their communities, and also those who have electricity or also can have the meters they deserve, so everybody can take responsibility for whatever he consumes and pay rightly for it, so we can mitigate these unreasonable distribution loss, which is piling up the debt that we all have. So I wish you very well, and I have no doubt you will excel with the support of the caucus, the parliament, and the country. Thank you very much.
I'd like to commence this interrogation by going through your CV on item number 6, V, item number 6V. I noticed that you've been the chairman for Nuclear Energy Program Implementing Organization. As a minister designate, I know that you have been adequately informed about the progress so far made in trying to introduce the use of nuclear power in the country. If you don't mind, if you can apprise us as other people in the country are listening to you of where we are with the promotion of the use of nuclear power, and what will be your commitment to ensure that the future in the next 4 years will be commencing the implementation of the nuclear power. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Leader, it's true, I chaired NEPIO. At my last briefing, they have identified 2 sites. They've also identified 2 countries, China and the USA, and they've identified 2 technologies. The bigger nuclear plant, which can give you about 1,200 to 1,400 megawatts, and the modular plants, which gives you just 100, 100, 100, 100. And so in South Africa, they use what they call pebble bed. So the option is to look at the smaller ones. They are easier to manage, they are modular, and they can deal with them. But like you said, I asked them a specific question. Can we switch power on before we leave office? And nuclear has serious milestones. And so the information I have is that the earliest we can get power from nuclear is 6 years. That is even if we tick all the boxes. And so we have a lot to do. and we'll try and push it to the best of our ability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And,
Any further question?
Yes. What the timelines will be, and how are we going to implement that kind of measure? Thank you.
Your answer to the question.
Thank you, Chairman. That proposed measure is on our table, except that our approach is different. We believe that we can merge Bui Power and VRA so that you have something like Ghana Power Company or whatever. We do not intend to privatize. So when you merge them, you have a holding company and 3 subsidiaries: hydro components, thermal components, and renewable components, all under one umbrella, but controlled by both VRA and Bui. They will determine how they want to run it. They will determine how they want to move with it. We do not intend to privatize any of those plants because they produce about 45% of our national requirement. And as a strategic step, you do not put all your energy assets in private hands. So let me assure the workers, we'll consult them. This is just an idea that we intend to implement. If we need to tweak it, we will do that with them and bring about efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do I get that understanding that currently the VRA is responsible for both the hydro and gas? Does it mean that you are leaving everything for them, for both Bui and VRA, and will be operating alongside if you are having just one company as an energy? Thank you.
What we intend to do is to consolidate them and then increase specialization and efficiency. Because there are some hydro people at Bui, there are some renewable guys at Bui, there are some hydro people at VLA, they are also doing renewables. So why don't we bring all the renewable people under one umbrella so that their expertise is renewables, especially as the ministry's mandate focuses more on green transition. Then the hydro, bring all the hydro technicians under one, so that procurements and all that, they can reduce losses and increase efficiency. The same with thermal plants. But then it's the same company that gets the receivables, and they can then apportion them based on how they believe will bring about efficiency and net gain. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any further question? Or
one further question that I was making. I have just one further question, which is of interest. How do you intend to ensure that energy prices remain affordable for the average Ghanaian? Thank you.
The first requirement for this sector is the anchoring of the currency. A lot of the receivables, a lot of the expenditure is dollar denominated. So the economic section, that is i.e. Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana, would have to work very hard to anchor the currency. Because ECG alone has a forex loss of 1.5 billion. Somebody has to pay for that. So we have to ensure that we anchor the currency. Then on our side, from the technical side, we have to ensure that we bring about efficiency. Because if you increase the collections, then there will be no need to increase tariffs, because there will be more in the pot. So it has to be a two-pronged approach. The economic side has to anchor the currency. And then from where we are, we have to improve efficiency, consume more gas, reduce the losses, and increase the resilience of the grid. When you do that, you make a lot of savings. And as you make the savings, you can pass it on to consumers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations in advance. Thank you.
Not really a question. You had made a point earlier that ENI veto dispute, Ghana lost the case. I just wanted to get a clarification whether perhaps you slipped or I didn't hear you correctly. Because I know for a fact that in that international arbitration, the tribunal dismissed the 950 million claim against GNPC and Ghana. So I just wanted, for the records, maybe I didn't hear you right in your earlier response, you know.
Chairman, E&I went for 2 reliefs. There was an order of unitization from government. E&I went to the Court of Arbitration that government did not follow due process. 2, E&I then asked for compensation in terms of monetary compensation. So the first issue of government issuing that directive, the Court of Arbitration agreed with E&I and disagreed with government. So that directive, which is the substantive issue, as far as I'm concerned, E&I had its way, is the next leg, which is to say compensate me, that the Court of Arbitration thought that there was no need to compensate them. But the substantive issue of the directive, the Court of Arbitration has insisted. And because of that, Springfield has now drilled a well, and we are waiting for the results of the appraisal to determine the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You are bringing out an important matter. Are you saying that in the issue 1, where the Court of Arbitration, the tribunal agreed with the issue raised by E&I, it resulted in any financial loss to the state? Or it resulted in any... No,
Honorable Minority Leader, the nominee never said that.
Wait.
He explained
Chairman, let me put...
the 2 legs of the decision.
Chairman, wait. The public is listening and watching. So I just want us to have clarity. According to you, the compensation bit, their claim was dismissed, which is a matter of public record. But then you are also telling us that there was an issue as to decisions that government had taken and whether or not those decisions were right. You are saying that their question on those decisions was upheld by the tribunal. My question then to you is this: was there any costs to government as a result of that relief? Was there any loss to the states as a result of that relief? That is what I wanted to know.
So in simple terms, the only loss will be that the state was directed to make some payments in respect of legal matters. So, for instance, if you go to court, the cost of arbitration, the cost for legal services, the state was directed to pay that. Whether that is cost or not, I'll leave it for you, the lawyers. But I'm saying that this is what the court decided. I don't want to put interpretation on whether those payments constitute costs or not, because I'm not a lawyer and I do not want to step into that arena. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable nominee, I will land on this very important point. You see, we are talking about a ruling of a tribunal, a judgment, the outcome of a case. I don't want us to be rhetorical about it or be hypothetical or whatever. What is a fact remains a fact. Was there any order made against government in that arbitration? And if so, and you have reference to that, can you tell us exactly the orders that were made against the government of Ghana and GNPC? Respectfully, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No nominee.
Thank you. So, government of Ghana issued an order that 2 parties unitize. So let's put it in single terms. It says that male and female marry. That's the order from the father. Then one party goes to court and says that no, government is wrong. You can't just ask us to marry. You are jumping the gun. And arbitration upheld that and says the government was wrong in asking the 2 parties to marry or unitize. That's all. It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much. It's now the...
Chairman, please, let me read.
Honorable,
question. I'm giving
Honorable Leader.
Chairman, please, this is a
I'm
legal
taking
matter.
your words.
Yes,
that
I'm not asking
you have
a question.
asked
Chairman, it's not
the
a
last question.
Yes, I have. Chairman, please, it's for all of us. Please. Yes, it's for all of us. Colleagues, let's get this. I would read
Where are you even reading from in the first place?
Chairman, with respect, I'll provide you.
Where are you reading from?
Chairman, I'm reading from the website of, yes, I know. I am reading from the website of City FM, which
so
website
that
is hosting.
Is your authentic source from which you can pick a judgment.
Wait, it is hosting the ruling. The website hosts the ruling, and it's quoting the full ruling. It's not their write-up. I just want to read out. The tribunal denied the claimants, ENI and Vitor, their monetary damages, which initially stood at $7 billion, but were later reduced to $950 million, plus interest by the end of the proceedings. The tribunal dismissed all claims against GMPC entirely. Additionally, the tribunal rejected the claimant's request to declare that Ghana breached petroleum agreement by refusing to withdraw or prevent reliance by third parties on the unitization directive. The tribunal also dismissed the claimant's request for Ghana to notify the High Court, Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court of Ghana that the unitization directives were issued in breach of the petroleum agreement. I mean, this is a matter that I'm lifting directly from the ruling. I just want to bring it to our collective attention. So I'm just saying that there was no such claim, such order made against any of the respondents from the ruling.
Well, we'll take your words. Be brief. Be brief.
I'm putting it out as a fact.
Be brief. Honorable nominee.
Honorable Fanyabaka, it does appear that maybe because you were in a hurry to read, you jumped one line. Let me just read that for you.
Please go about.
However, the tribunal find that in the circumstance in which they were issued, the unitization directive breached the petroleum agreement. Simple. It's on the City FM thing. It's there. The very one you are reading. It's there. I didn't
colleague, I will not want to, which is a legal matter. The last I will do.
For you.
No. The last I will do is to trade my profession. I will not. I am reading up to the end. I am reading up to the end. Respectfully, it reads that the tribunal dismissed all claims against the GMPC entirely. In the minimum, my law is okay. Additionally, the tribunal rejected the claimant's request to declare that Ghana breached the petroleum agreement by refusing to withdraw or prevent reliance by third parties on the unitization directives. The last paragraph. And I'm not running away from any paragraph. I wouldn't want to put my reputation on the line on this. The last paragraph reads, the tribunal also dismissed the claimant's request for Ghana to notify the High Court, Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court of Ghana that the unitization directives were issued in breach of the petroleum agreement.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for the education. Once you give me the nomination, I'll consult the Attorney General. The Attorney General will guide me. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. In the midst of the disagreement, I'll give the opportunity to Honorable Ayarika to read what is also happening. Please go ahead and read.
This is the report. It says that Ghana has suffered a setback in an international arbitration case concerning its attempts to unitize offshore oil fields, but avoided potentially significant financial damages. So there were two issues. Ghana sought to get them to unitize. And in that respect, Ghana suffered a loss because the court did not agree with Ghana. But then Ghana avoided financial loss, that is payment of damages or any compensation. And that is exactly what he has reported. So please, why? You can read from a website, I cannot read from a website. Please, it's here.
Reading from the website.
We're all reading from the website.
Yes.
It's here. You can.
So, honorable members,
I'm giving it to you. Take it.
We can allow the contradictions.
If you have any doubts, you can take it and read it.
In the publications at the website to So we make progress. Honorable Deputy
Chairman,
Majority Leader, you have your turn.
Chairman.
Minority Leader, I plead with you.
Yes,
with all
Chairman,
due
I'm
respect.
pleading with
Let
you.
us not argue
Chairman,
the veracity or
not...
other ways of the various publications that you are relying upon.
Chairman,
so,
Chairman, please oblige me.
Honorable Leader, let us be guided by the provisions of the Constitution in Article 78 and 94. I beg you.
Chairman,
I've given the floor to Honorable Deputy Leader.
Chairman.
Honorable Minority Leader, I have given the floor to Honorable Deputy Majority Leader. I may come back to you. So please. Please, I may come back to you.
Okay, Chairman.
I may come back to you.
Chairman,
please.
With that said, I will rest my case to allow you to come back and deal with this matter. Thank you.
Respected Minority Leader, keep asking to be indulged. He would end his presentation and ask for just a small opportunity to make one point, and then that becomes a whole new presentation. And he keeps insisting, indulge me, indulge me. And even when you give opportunity to somebody to speak, he will make sure that you give him the opportunity. Right now, his turn has passed. I didn't expect you to say that when the Honorable Boa finished, you're going to give him another opportunity. He will start.
Remember, I know what I am doing. So please, it's now the turn of Honorable Boa.
Today, we beg you.
Honorable Boa, you have the floor.
Honorable John, as my deputy, and I am very, very proud of you. I think that you are sitting in that chair because you were dedicated, you focused on humility and worked your way up. You became our ranking and you led a team very, very well. And so there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to be a very successful energy minister. I have three things that I want to guide you. You may not even answer them. But you know that the upstream sector is in complete disarray. With all the big players gone, oil production has declined over 37% and continuing. The last 8 years, the 3 producing fields that we brought on stream, nothing has been added. You talked a lot about the challenges and the court cases you've lost. And so I hope that will really engage your attention and the strategies to increase oil production and bring the big boys back. And I know that you've talked about that. We need to really get to gas efficiency and make sure we get gas security. That is the key to the energy sector. And I'm very sure that you focus on that as well. I think you've talked about the indebtedness. I'm sure you will tell us that when we were leaving power, how much we left in debt. And whether or not it's true that we left $5 billion. The issue of renewable energy in an energy transition is critical, and that's probably why the energy sector is now energy and then the transition. And so I believe that you really add the issue of renewable energy as well. The last point is the issue of SML and all the issue of transparency that came up. I believe that we will look into that issue and address it so it doesn't happen again. On that note, I wish you all the best, and there's no doubt that you'll be successful.
I stepped into that ministry knowing nothing about energy, but he's been very, very useful as a mentor, and I can only thank him. The only thing I've learned from him is hard work, and so I thank him very well. Thank you.